everyone. I'm Linda Anderson of Anderson Elder Law. Thank you for joining us today for our series on entrepreneurial spirit for veterans. I'm joined today by Ralph Galati, and thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Ralph is the executive director of, well, I guess you're first and foremost a veteran, but you're also the executive director of J-Dog Foundation.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about J-Dog.
J-Dog is a veteran-owned and operated series of brands. They do junk removal, they do hauling, they do carpet cleaning, but basically it's employing maybe 70–80% veterans, opportunities to give them jobs, to own their own business as a franchise, and then hopefully as they grow to hire more veterans. So that's primarily what they do. And the J-Dog Foundation is a small spin-off of that just started earlier this year that we hope to activate more next year. We'll focus on veteran suicide prevention and a little bit on some college grants for students and veterans that are in need.
So I think when I think back to when I first came to know you, I was surprised to sort of read about your life experience. So you actually had served in the military for a number of years, right, and you were actually a POW for over a year. You mind sharing us a little bit of information about that?
8 years on active duty in the Air Force, 70 to 78. In 1972, I was in Southeast Asia as a Vietnam-era veteran and got shot down over North Vietnam, so I spent 14 months in the Hanoi Hilton. And as a young guy, 23, 24, it was very developmental. Came back and spent 5 more years on active duty till 78, and then spent the bulk of my career working for IBM and as an adjunct faculty. So when I speak with veterans today, I could touch a nerve somewhere with them. I have 8 years of military experience, 30 years in business, 30 years as an educator. So we could talk about the GI Bill, we could talk about benefits, we could talk about the VA. So I'm not in depth on any of them, but I have enough knowledge to at least start the conversation and be credible, and then help them connect the dots with services wherever that may be.
So, and just to sort of, I think we were talking before the tape started running about how I came to sort of see your name. I think you had, after your career in business, we were in Delaware County, and all of a sudden I started seeing your name attached to the Delaware County Veterans Services.
Office of Veteran Services,
Veteran
right.
Services, and all of a sudden it became extremely active, and I saw your name over and over and over, and I reached out to you only to realize that you were sort of instantaneously working on many, many realms, as you are now, mm-hmm, on many, many realms of veterans issues. Right. So the hope for this series is to really focus on resources for veterans in terms of entrepreneurial opportunities, mm-hmm, and also get into a little bit other material. But in terms of looking for entrepreneurial opportunities, you had also worked with St. Joseph's in their program.
My alma mater, by the way.
Your alma mater. Yes. So tell us a little bit about that program and what they offer for vets.
Yeah, in 2012, there was an initiative that started with an alum donor that was also a veteran. And he wanted us to wanted St. Joe's to affiliate with Syracuse University, who had a long-standing 8-year program on veterans entrepreneurship. So in 2014, St. Joe's asked me to come out of retirement, and we opened the Office of Veteran Services there. And it was primarily focused on our sponsor's wish, was to affiliate with Syracuse and help deliver an entrepreneurship program here in Philadelphia at St. Joe's, which is what we did. We ended up delivering not just the Syracuse program, which is called EBV, the Entrepreneurship Boot Camp for Veterans with Disabilities, that's still in existence. They've been around about 12 years now. But we created our own version called the Veterans Entrepreneurial Jumpstart, very similar in design, but not as many restrictions, so we didn't have to worry about what era they were from. We didn't have to worry if they were disabled or not. But 2 parallel programs, and the whole result is helping veterans that are interested in starting their own small business. So sometimes entrepreneurship carried with it a connotation of high tech. So we just kind of told it small business. Mm-hmm. The programs are still going strong now. So from 2014 to today, it's been at least 5 years. I think they've graduated almost 200 veterans through the program. Sometimes there were spouses. And we've had every kind of opportunity open. So some did government contracting, some decided to be landscapers, some decided to do manufacturing, some decided to do business consulting or veterans consulting. Some decided to start to knit clothing for female veterans. I mean, you name it, and it was there. All they needed was a little bit of motivation, a little bit of education, a little bit of focus, and some mentorship. And that's what we provided. It was all at no charge. It still is. We pay for your transportation, your lodging, the education. It's online. It's a week at St. Joe's, 9 days, and then it's some follow-up with mentoring. And the whole objective is really be sure that, one, you understand what small business ownership is and is not. So we could intercept you early without spending a lot of time and money to be sure that this is a good path for you. The other one is, if that is a good path for you, to reassess your business plan to be sure that it is doable, that it's not too broad and not too narrow. And they give you the tools and education and services necessary to help you jumpstart your business. So it's been a lot of fun. We've had great results. And veterans really do make good small business owners, just like they make good employees, because they carry with them some really great intangible skills that they've developed by virtue of their military service. Things like mission focus and leadership and being good risk takers and good managers of change, adapting to different dynamics. Things that are hard to write and quantify in a resume, but nonetheless, employers and even small business owners know that they carry these skills. So, I can teach you the skills to be an accountant, or I can teach you HR, but I can't teach you how to lead people. It's really hard, those intangibles. So that's why sometimes they're really good entrepreneurs and they're really good employees.
So with the entrepreneur program, it sounds like part of it is the opportunity to recognize that maybe someone isn't a good natural entrepreneur, but to not say there isn't a good opportunity as a great employee.
Correct.
And to actually connect them with employers. Are there resources that you can identify for employers to be able to say, you know what, here are ways that you can actually bring, with an intention of hiring vets, to actually bring vets into your business? Yeah,
there's a lot of activity in the greater Philadelphia area, the tri-state area. Our challenge is not having services or programs available. Our challenge is finding veterans. So one message we could deliver is, if you're a veteran out there, I'll give you some resources. If you're a family member, a neighbor, somebody that goes to the same church, you're in the same soccer league, and you know somebody's a veteran, even if they're not struggling, just approach them and find out, are they getting all their benefits? The other one is, and our job will be, if you can point them to me or one of the resources we have, we will help them connect the dots. It could be the VA, it could be a non-VA asset or resource. Our job is to help them get in the right program. So a lot of veterans know about the GI Bill, but higher ed is not for everybody. Some people just need to develop a trade. They want to be an electrician or a plumber or a shoe repair person. I mean, those skills are dwindling. We need people in those skills. So some people aren't ready for college, but they might be ready for community college. Some people need VA healthcare. Some people need counseling. So the challenge is finding those veterans so we can put them on a path. And then once we contact them and know who they are, we can keep the mentoring process going. In the greater Philadelphia area, there's a couple groups. One is the Delaware Valley Veterans Consortium, which is a group of like-minded organizations that get together quarterly. They all deliver different types of services for veterans. Some are government, most are not. But they do things because they just want to support the veterans' cause. Another group is Philadelphia Salute Coalition, which is a group of like-minded companies that are veteran-friendly that want to hire veterans. So they've seen the value of hiring veterans in their organization. They have great mentorship programs. They bring people in, they help them transition and readjust into society, which is a big challenge, and help them become better citizens, but also help them become better employees, because employers are starting to see the value of the veteran because they have those soft skills. So the big issue is finding somebody to contact.
So you made a comment that it's sometimes hard to find the veterans. Is that because veterans are not likely to be asking for help?
Sure. They're also likely to fly below the radar a bit. The other one is matriculation, call it whatever you want, readjustment or transitioning back into civilian life. When you've lost 100% of your support structure, whether you've been in the military 2, 5, 20 years, you're used to this brotherhood, this family. I have your back, and strong leadership and discipline every day. And then when you become a civilian, it's not the DOD's job, Department of Defense's job, to make you a civilian again. It's not the VA's job to make you a civilian again. So you're congratulated, and now you're back as a civilian again, and sometimes that transition is tough. All their friends are gone, they've been married, they've relocated, your family doesn't know how to talk to you that much, you don't have a career plan, you don't even know your benefits. So if you don't have a resource to deal with, you can flounder. And that's where we start to have problems with drug abuse, domestic abuse, and you name it. They end up on a path toward the criminal justice system as opposed to a good employment path. So finding those veterans early is really tough. There's just not an easy way to do that. I think the government has become overly sensitive and protective to ensure we protect the rights of veterans. And they've done such a great job of that we can't find them. So there ought to be a path that we could get better information on who they are. But every county in the state of Pennsylvania has by law an Office of Veterans Services. If you have nowhere else to go, you could find that. And Philadelphia has one. All the 5 county areas have one. South Jersey has them. I mean, everybody has them. There's almost no excuse. If you have no other place to go, you find your local Office of Veterans Services in your county seat, and you start there.
So for any veterans that are feeling overwhelmed, that's one place to start?
Correct.
Anything else that...
Well, the VA. If you're not part of the VA system, you want to at least get into the healthcare system. Not 100% of the veterans qualify for that. It's just the way it is. But there's also disability benefits, there's education benefits, there's home loans, there's insurance, but you have to talk to somebody that has some expertise. So your Office of Veterans Services is an easy place to go. You could also go to any veterans organization, Disabled American Veterans, the American Legion, Vietnam Veterans of America, Disabled American Veterans. They all have resources in what's called Veteran Service Organizations, or VSO, that are qualified and trained to help veterans with their benefits.
Right. So to just not assume that there's no one out there. Everybody is looking for you.
There's plenty of people there in the government, local, state and local, and federal, and then there are private agencies. There are no shortage of resources. There's just not easy to get the veterans to come in and ask. So
and to recognize that this transition is really hard.
Well, they hear a lot of people thanking them for their service, and that's okay. The challenge is getting them to take action. So we as a lot are terrible customers. Okay, we just don't ask for a lot, and sometimes it looks like a handout, whereas a lot of employers will just say, "No, we're trying to give you a hand or a hand up." So if you just swallow a little bit of your pride and realize that you're not asking for a benefit you don't deserve, you're asking for something that you were totally eligible for. And if you could just do that, or have a family member encourage that. I tell this story when I was doing Delaware County Veteran Services. Very, very rarely in 3 years did I have a post 9/11 veteran come in by themselves. Usually they came in with an uncle that was a veteran, a grandparent, a girlfriend, a spouse, somebody that knew they needed help, that had someplace to go, and they would bring them in. And once we got that started, then we were okay.
Right. Well, I think we've talked about 2 important things. One is not only the entrepreneur spirit, but also just helping all vets, no matter where we find them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming in
My
today.
great pleasure, and thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm Linda Anderson of Anderson Elder Law. If you'd like more information, please check our website, andersonelderlaw.com. Thank you.